Hello and welcome to Metro Weather Watch. We are here with our first episode of Let's Talk Weather. For people that followed us back in the Storm Hunters days, this is something we used to do actually. Me and Tony used to get together. Back then it was weekly. I think we're going to probably do this maybe monthly or maybe if it's pending maybe events too, stuff, weather events. So, yeah, I got Tony here. Tony.
Good evening, everyone.
Yeah, we're both back again and everything doing this again. So, this is pretty much our first episode, though, and yeah, we're gonna see how it goes. Hopefully, everything will go well. Hopefully, I'll enjoy this. I know, just a little different. We'll talk about the event tonight. Of course, that's a big thing on everybody's minds, I think, as this weather system moves into the area. We got a lot of potential ice and maybe a little snow for our northern counties, and rain in the far southern. So we'll see how this goes. It's going to be interesting to see where this sets up and how much ice actually accumulates. I can go ahead and show you our topic of discussion here. We'll go ahead and move on to the next graphic, Tony. I guess if you're ready for that. This is going to be the first time we're actually showing this. No one has actually got to see this yet. We haven't posted this on the page, but there it is right here. This is our winter weather kind of outlook for this evening and tomorrow. As you can see, snow 1 to 3 inches more than possible for our far northern counties like Vincennes, Petersburg, Princeton, McLeansboro, Fairfield, Mount Vernon, possibly even. We could even see a dusting to maybe an inch. It's mainly north of Evansville, between that Princeton and Evansville line, kind of I-64 area, I guess would be a good place for that. Actually, you kind of see where that grayish area is kind of marked. That's where freezing rain mainly would be, but then again, there could be some light accumulation, sleet and snow as well. Down here in Evansville, Henderson, Owensboro, Morganfield, the main metro area, all this area, I think it's mainly going to be freezing rain. Tony, I guess you probably agree with that. I'm assuming with that, what we're seeing on the latest modeling data.
Right.
We're thinking about a 1/10 of an inch to maybe a 1/4 of an inch. I'm starting to think, though, it's very likely we could see some higher amounts, especially locally. Latest model data is showing some fairly higher amounts in certain spots. So we could be talking a 1/2 inch of ice accumulation, maybe even a little bit more. We're just have to wait and see. It's really hard to say at this time because models are not really in agreement on that right now. So
we're more in a nowcast situation.
Pretty much. So this is the best we can do, though, at the moment. And sorry about my phone. And this is probably our best thing we can go with. It's probably a little blurry. I don't know. For some reason, it's kind of blurry on this image right now. For some reason, I guess it's maybe the full screen. Maybe that didn't help at all. So try to help that with that. And then once you, by the way, pretty much we'll go ahead and call this area out too. Pretty much once you get down south of Madisonville, it's mainly going to be mostly rain. Not going to have to worry about too much accumulation of anything, ice, snow, or sleet, or anything like that. That's kind of what we're talking about, though, tonight. And like Tony said, definitely a nowcast situation. So we'll just have to keep an eye on everything. Let's go ahead and head right to the Doppler radar, though. We'll kick out of this. And so here's our Metro Doppler. It's a live shot from the Evansville radar site. You can see it's kind of a little scattered back in here right now because it's getting away from the radar. But we do have our tier level 3 running, which is showing the ice and freezing rain and sleet and snow line. As you see, it is all snow just north of Evansville, actually, right now. It's actually about to be on the border of Evansville. Kind of zoom in here, and you see it's starting to move in. I'll go and put in motion here. I'd say it'll be in Evansville definitely within this hour, really probably within next 30 minutes. Looks like that's more than likely going to be sleet right there, that orange color. So may start out with some sleet. Then there's some freezing rain just to the south of that. You see Morganfield right now is getting some freezing rain, Harrisburg, Marion. And then right now Henderson's actually also showing some rain right now. It could be freezing rain. I know it's kind of scattered in here. So I think that more than likely might be freezing rain in Henderson, but radar is kind of trying to pick that up, and you see it's kind of scattered throughout. So Henderson might be seeing some freezing rain as well. If anybody's in the Henderson area watching, you can tell what it's doing out there already, let us know. So we'll be watching. I think Tony's going to be watching the YouTube channel, so he'll be getting your questions on there. And if Facebook as well, I think he'll be kind of watching too every once in a while, but more than likely the YouTube channel, best place to get us at. Owensboro got a little bit, Rockport, Boonville, Jasper. Everyone's got to get a little bit for now, but I'll kind of zoom it out and put it in motion again. So that's pretty much what we're looking at, though, right now. It's the very start of this system as this moves in. Tony, you got anything for that?
No, basically, we do have new data coming in.
That's pretty much what we're looking at though right now.
Yes, over that.
Very
Yeah,
started.
You got it. You have to. Yeah, there we go.
For that.
No, basically, we do have new data coming in.
Yeah, Tony, it's echoing through us. Out there.
Yes, over there. Very started. You got it. You have to. Yeah, there we go.
Hey, one second. We'll get that fixed in a second. Sorry about that.
We do have new data coming in.
Yeah, Tony, it's echoing through us. There.
Hey, Tony.
Very started. You have to. Yeah, there we go.
See if I get it. Hey, Tony. See if that gets fixed here in a second. Sorry about that.
Okay.
There we go. Get it, Chris. All right. Sorry about blowing out y'all zero drums out there real quick. You kind of glitched out there for us. Yeah, we got that good now. So yeah, there's the live radar shot though. After all that, so and by the way, I'm a little late tonight. We were supposed to do this at 7, but I ended up getting delayed. I actually got called back into work because people kind of started freaking out here in the Owensboro area from the freezing rain chances. I guess they saw the news at 5 and they came rushing in. So I ran back in real quick, and I'm in the meat department, so I had to make some more ground beef for people. So that was interesting. So it's kind of been the image for my night tonight. So yeah, I'm sure a lot of people have been doing that though, just to be safe. You know, I think everyone, especially around here, they hear ice, are really wary after 2009, and it's definitely understandable after something that major happens. So, all right, Tony, you got anything else before we move on to the next little bit here? Okay, yeah, so we're going to go to the advisories right now. So far, here's the updated advisory right now. This goes till 6 a.m. or 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. Wednesday. I just see all this white covered area. I know the map's kind of glitched out right through here, but it's kind of from the telecast. That's a winter weather advisory, and this little gray shaded area down here in the Missouri area, that's actually ice storm warnings. So that's something we're going to have to keep an eye out for and see if that gets expanded as this new model data comes through. Very well could. We're just kind of waiting to see, though. So, yeah, Tony, you back now?
Yeah, sorry you lost me there for a second. We all know that this happens to me all the time. It's called a Tony Gaffel right there.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Yeah, this is a man that literally fell asleep during last severe weather coverage last year. So you get some interesting moments with Tony when we're live. So we definitely have some interesting times. So yeah, but yeah, there's the latest image though for the alerts. We didn't pull up the telecast alerts and everything. Gave you that. This is pretty much the up-to-date latest so far. Like I said, it's been the same since about, I believe this came out earlier this morning, I believe. So like I said, winter weather advisory for the entire area except for our really far extensive southern counties, pretty much south of Madisonville, in like Morgantown, Bowling Green. They're not in it, but everybody north of that area is pretty much going to be in it for the tri-state. It's basically the whole entire tri-state. And of course, like I said, the ice storm warnings, they're outside the area right now. But we will be continuing to keep an eye on the model data and make sure those aren't going to be needed to be expanded. We'll just have to wait and see. So let's go ahead. We'll go ahead and look at the weather data. So this is the very latest NAM, actually. It's coming through right now. It just came out at 8, about 7:30 to 8 o'clock run. This is the 0Z run. So we'll go ahead and go through all that. This is basically, I guess this would probably be more accurate. Well, this is probably the closest to being accurate what it is right now.
The 0Z
I think it's a little behind.
Run. So we'll go ahead and go through all that.
Oh,
this
yeah,
is the
echoing again, Tony.
I guess this is probably more accurate. Well, this is probably the closest to being accurate what it is right now.
I think get that fixed real quick. All right, there we go. I think. All right, I think we're good. So we'll go ahead and start this. So this is the latest data from NAM. And as you see, the freezing rain really hits this area hard right through here. Pretty heavy freezing rain. That's going to be the sleet line right there, and that's going to be the snow line. Yeah, so that's what we'll have to keep an eye out for. That's about 3 a.m. right there. The one before that was about this is going to be midnight right here is what it's kind of showing. It's pretty heavy freezing rain falling throughout the metro area. At 3 a.m., you see the back end of the system starts to move in. Still some pretty good freezing rain falling and some snow also taking over for the northern counties. And then it all tapers off in the back end. There's the last of the freezing rain. The rain moves off. And this system's cleared out of here. I'd say it'd probably be cleared out about 15Z Wednesday. So about pretty much morning hours of Wednesday is basically what that is. We'll go ahead and we'll go to the latest freezing rain accumulation now. So this is the ice accumulation. This is what we're going to be kind of looking out for. And that's the latest right there. We'll just go stop it right there. As you see for Owensboro.
And it just got a report from Zach. I'm sorry, just got a report from on the YouTube post, well, on our channel that it is starting to spit some slate here in Evansville, rain and slate in Evansville.
Okay, so yeah, we'll take a look back at the radar. Yeah,
and this report is coming out by USI.
USI.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that does fit with the radar too. What it was showing earlier when we looked. So yeah, that should be bearing into the area. So that's good. That's
and I'm sorry, Dan Dozier. Dan Dozier, if I pronounce that last name right, I apologize. He's asking how long is this expected to last? According to the latest data, it should be out of the metro area by daybreak.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's definitely, yeah, because it's showing about it should be out of Evansville by about 6 a.m. I think I looked from the latest model from NAM, it showed about 10 a.m. for the entire tri-state probably wide. 9, 10 a.m. probably be out of here completely for the entire tri-state. And here, so this is the like I said, we was talking about the sleet and accumulation. This is the latest NAM, and it does show a half an inch ice accumulation, freezing rain accumulation for the Evansville area.
Mm-hmm. John Hancock from here in Evansville. He says it's coming down hard.
Oh yeah,
he said it sounds like hail.
Oh wow, so, yeah, that's definitely impressive. It's definitely coming down good. Then if they're doing that, yeah, that's really that's pretty neat. So hopefully, if y'all got any more reports, keep sending them. That's really cool that's y'all getting to see that now already, and that's definitely showing some pretty heavy sleet falling. If it sounds like hell like that, that's definitely interesting. So, yeah, just keep sending y'all's reports in though. We appreciate them. They kind of helps the rest of the area kind of know what's going on and what to expect already as it moves in, because it just now starting to move into the key metro area now. So it's kind of nice starting to already get the first reports of the day from our viewers. So I appreciate it. Yeah. So we were talking about the model data though right now, and that's kind of what we're going through and everything. So already sleet's falling into the area. So I think they're kind of expecting this to kind of change back over to freezing rain at some point tonight, though. We'll see how much this accumulates. So if it's coming down like that, we'll probably get some sleet accumulation, especially in the Evansville area with that happening. So this could be unfolding a little differently though than expected too. So we'll have to keep an eye on that part as well. Yeah. So there's the Evansville area. Like I said, it was showing about almost a half an inch of ice freezing rain accumulation. That's pretty impressive numbers already for this latest run. That is kind of worrisome. I mean, half an inch of ice is a decent amount. It's nothing like I said, it's not going to be nothing like 09. That was almost over 2 inches of ice for like the Western Kentucky area. So that's nothing like that, but definitely can start causing issues. Definitely cause issues on the roadways, and also that's kind of the borderline of where it starts causing problems on ice, trees, stuff like on the power lines of trees. I mean, sorry about that. And then when you kind of get into the Evansville or Henderson area down in West Kentucky, so in parts of Southern Illinois, you get some even higher amounts than that. Some pretty much 6/10 of an inch in some areas as well. There's almost 3/4 of an inch down there. Kind of that's to the north of Paducah. So definitely some interesting numbers to keep. We're gonna have to keep an eye on if that ends up being, the case. So that's definitely interesting though to see that. Yeah, what do you think about that for that one? Oh, yep, and there's a little over 3/4. That's a little over 3/4 of an inch right there. That's on the Kentucky-Missouri line. So, yeah, that's pretty impressive. Tony, of course, me and Tony have actually been talking about this a lot lately. You know, we have been noticing some of the higher numbers at times the models have shown, and this is pretty interesting seeing this being pretty much the last run before the system really hits. So it's going to be one of the most accurate we're going to get before the system, you know, as the system moves in pretty much.
Yeah, we kind of had a little discussion with former Metro Weather Watch meteorologist Nathan Kitchens earlier. We were talking behind the scenes, and me and him both agree that we would not rule out the possibility of some type of an upgrade, depending on how this unfolds. If it unfolds the way it's unfolding in Southeast Missouri, would not surprise if parts of the area get upgraded.
Oh yeah, yeah, and you know that would be, you know, given those and seeing these numbers and stuff, that definitely would be cause for one. And we'll see if National Weather Service decided to go with one or not. You know, and you know, that is kind of showing some sleet, so it is coming in a little differently than this model kind of showed. But you know, it is early, so a lot can change and a lot can happen over the next few hours. So we'll just kind of see how this unfolds. I think that's probably going to be more kind of tell-worthy of what the National Weather Service decided to do with it once it as it kind of unfolds. Because like I said, we're kind of, I think everyone, not just us, but pretty much the entire, I think basically the entire weather communities that's going to be giving you information. Everyone's going to be pretty much nowcasting this one. It's just kind of how it is.
Right, because some of the earlier data this morning was showing the potential for 1 to 2 inches of snow and sleet on top of the ice. And and in some cases, the models were trying to paint snow and sleet, then the ice. They kept going back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah, yeah, that's definitely true. And so we'll have to see how that goes, though. I mean, it's going to be really interesting to see how this goes. I went in and switch over. I'm going to switch over to this is a snow accumulation. We'll go ahead and move in and see how this unfolds. And not too much accumulation right now showing up. I mean, you see like in the Vincennes area, about 1.8 inches of snow possible. Then when you get kind of out of the area, you start getting those 3 to 4 plus numbers after that, but that's more outside of the area. But like I said, throughout the tri-state, I think we can almost say now, even my map might be in a kind of wrong for the southern Illinois counties that I have in the 1 to 3. Look at the latest. I think you could probably say under an inch now, going off the latest if I go by this model alone. But I'm sure the other models, you know, I don't know how well they're agreeing with this or not, but going off this one, that's a good sign for the southern Illinois counties if you don't like snow in that area. But everyone in the Vincennes, it looks like, 1 to 2 inches probably for the southern Indiana counties that are in that snow range I have. So yeah, let's go to total precip accumulation as well. Let's kind of take a look at that. Let's just kind of see how much precipitation is planned on falling. That may kind of give us an idea of what to expect with all total. Over 3/4 of an inch of total precipitation for the Owensboro area. As you see, that's pretty much the same number in Henderson as it is for the freezing rain. So they're pretty much expecting the entire system to pretty much be all freezing rain for Henderson. And the same goes for Evansville as well. You see the same 0.51, but as we already seen, though, there's already sleet falling in the area. So that is the difference that's going to happen. So let's keep an eye on these areas down here around this border, though, where some really a little bit higher precipitation's falling, over 3/4 of an inch. I mean, we'll have to keep an eye on those areas because if that ends up being all freezing rain, that could be pretty bad. So we'll keep an eye on these areas in the West Kentucky areas with that with higher precipitation expected. We'll keep an eye on that and see how that goes. Hopefully, though, it won't be all freezing rain. That wouldn't be too good. Yeah, Tony, I guess if you're ready, I guess we head back over to the Doppler radar real quick. If you're ready to go, you think? So, and here we are. So here's the latest radar, and as you see that it's now over the city of Evansville. And it actually looks like the freezing rain and the sleet lines splitting Evansville in half right now. I don't know if you see that, Tony, as well.
Yes, and I'm over here on the southeast side of the city. I haven't had a chance to take a peek out. I'm gonna let Zach go ahead and continue with the radar update, and I'm gonna stick my head out and see what it's doing over here.
Yeah, and right now the current radar, Tony, is actually showing you're in freezing rain. So we'll see if that confirms as well, if that line's pretty accurate or not. So Boonville actually now it's starting to move into your area as well. Now Boonville, you're should be starting to see precipitation. Reed, West Louisville as well. Owensboro should be getting some rain. Looks like as right now showing rain. I don't know if it's rain exactly yet, but I'll be able to find that out here shortly. I'll let Tony kind of take over, and I'll check once it moves into Owensboro. Yeah, like I said, just keep sending y'all's reports in, though. We really appreciate them, though. We're going to be taking them all. And as you can see, there's also showing pure snow up here, pretty much right along the I-64 corridor is where it's kind of following. You got some probably heavy, looks like pretty heavy snowfall falling in the Fort Branch area and it's kind of moving over the radar site. So I'm sure they're probably seeing some pretty heavy snow right now falling. I can go ahead and let me see if I can pull up a national radar real quick. Go back to my. We'll move on to here real quick. We'll just look at El Telecast, so kind of show us. Let's see here. What I was looking for. Yep, there was something I was looking for. I'm trying to find it here. We'll go ahead and zoom in.
I did step outside to see what it was doing, and it's kind of doing a little bit of everything because there is some sleet on the sidewalk.
Okay, so yeah, so it's pretty much a wintry mix in how it sounds. Pop these off real quick, these alerts, and we'll get the full radar. We'll kind of get a national view. And as you see, we got a long road ahead of us, really. I mean, this is, I can't see my put emotion without going too far out.
John Hancock says that the sleet has transitioned to rain in the USI area.
Mm-hmm.
And he asked what are the odds of this? I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. He asked what are the odds of this going into a ice storm warning. The potential is there. It just depends on how this is going to unfold, because basically we're in a nowcast situation because the models are they're in pretty much agreement on the precipitation falling, but they're not in agreement on how much it's going to fall.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Like I said, it's going to come down to the National Weather Service. They're going to have to make the decision. They'll make that decision once they kind of see how it goes. And I think you're more than likely what you're seeing, by the way, is probably freezing rain. And that's kind of what the radar is actually showing. And actually, looking at the national radar, the section that's kind of been green right through here, there's apparently the national radar kind of shows that this is supposed to be all snow, or all freezing rain. I'm sorry, from Marion to Owensboro, pretty much. That little green section right here, that's apparently all freezing rain it's showing. So I don't know which one's exactly right.
It's with this radar, actually what it's doing is right now it's trying to go through it's trying to transition into so all freezing rain is more of a mix right now, mix of rain and freezing rain.
Yeah. And that's probably what you're seeing over there in USI. I bet that's probably, especially since it was sleet just a minute ago, I have a feeling it's probably going to be freezing rain falling, and you'll be able to tell here before too long, because you'll start seeing a nice coating of ice start forming on everything. It won't take very long for that to be pretty noticeable. So we'll see how this goes through the next little bit. We've been on for about 30 minutes already. So this is the latest, though, from that. But definitely, it's getting interesting already. It's, we'll kind of have to see how the system goes. And there's a big picture right there. It's kind of cut off down here for some reason, but there we go. That's what I needed. And all that just kind of moving, going to be trailing right up through the area. So we'll see how this goes and as it forms, and it'll be real interesting. So head back to the radar, this radar stuff. Let's kind of look at these traces. Freezing rain with glazing cars. There's actually steady freezing rain falling in Dexter. It's down there. That's going to be east of Mayfield, Kentucky. Popular Bluff had some sleet. And Evansville, they're just kind of see it's kind of it kind of has the city split in half with freezing rain and sleet. Does seem like Evansville, though, is quickly turning more into a freezing rain situation right now, though. Just kind of looking at the latest, I'd say Evansville most likely is mostly in freezing rain with some sleet mixing in. Owensboro, you should start. We're about to start seeing precipitation falling. Looks like the northwest half probably already is. I'm kind of more on the southeast half, so I'm literally. It should be bearing down on me anytime now. Basically, I'm kind of in the central of the town, so yeah. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, we'll just have to keep an eye on this, though. It's going to be real interesting tonight how this unfolds. A lot of uncertainty, and we kind of have to keep an eye on that. Real quick. I will jump to the National Weather Service page just to make sure nothing has dropped alert wise. And now, okay, everything's still the same. Yeah, so everything's still gonna be the same right now. So that is good. So far, no changes. So that's pretty much all we got though for this system right now. I think that's the latest. I'll bring up the image of our projections, and like we were saying, about 1 to 3 inches in this blue shaded area. I think, though, in Illinois counties, I think we're going to start kind of talking more around 1 inch or less. Just going off the latest, but we'll see if that unfolds. Evansville, we'll have to keep an eye out for that. It's kind of, like I said, you're all kind of split right now, and that line's pretty much, it's kind of funny how that line's actually following exactly where how that line set up for the kind of the sleet and dust of snow possible right there, too. So it's kind of interesting how it's set up like that. But we're just going to have to keep an eye on all this. I think it's going to be real interesting to see how this goes. That number, a quarter of an inch could definitely be a lot higher, especially if it ends up being all freezing rain, in a lot of these areas. So all we can do, though, is just keep an eye, really close eye on it. We'll have the radar going throughout the night, live on Metro Weather Watch. So if you need the radar, it's going to be on there for y'all. So just keep an eye on that. Tony, got anything else for this system?
No, not really. Just keeping an eye on this precipitation as it moves in from the southwest. And if you look further back towards more into southern Illinois, towards Harrisburg, that area will continue to fill in more throughout the evening hours. And the frozen precipitation will encompass a large chunk of the tri-state. And also, we don't want to leave out our viewers over in our followers over in the Louisville area. Eventually, this precipitation will move into the Louisville metro area, and most of South Central Kentucky is down there. You're going to remain mostly rain. Madisonville, you're going to be right there on the fence of rain and freezing rain down there. I was telling a couple followers earlier that it could go either way down there, depending on where the rain and freezing rain line decides to set up. But the heaviest precipitation is going to be right there, right along that line where the rain and freezing, close to the rain and freezing rain line is where the heaviest frozen precipitation is going to end up.
Yeah. And I agree with that. It's going to be really interesting to see how this all plays out, though, tonight. It's definitely going to be a long night for the area, and we'll just kind of have to keep an eye on everything. Thankfully, we're not talking anything like 2009, and that's always good. I think this area is real wary when it comes to ice. Anytime ice is mentioned after that one, because that was one of the top 3 worst ice storms in history. So yeah, that was and it hit right here in this area. So it was. I think anytime ice is mentioned, I know I even get a little wary about it. So that's it's a good sign, though. Hopefully that we're not going to see those type of numbers, but we're definitely going to be talking at least something, and that's what we're going to have to keep an eye out for. So I guess what we're going to transition to now, we'll kind of come back to this before we wrap it up and everything tonight. Guess what we can go over? We'll just kind of talk now about, we're just kind of talk about what we kind of expect for the rest of the winter, and also what we kind of expect for maybe the first part of spring. Maybe we'll just kind of talk kind of what we're kind of thinking and stuff, and we'll kind of see what y'all have to say about it all and stuff. We'll just kind of go about all that, though. So Tony, what do you think pretty much for the rest of the winter? What is your kind of projection of what do you expect?
February looks like it's going to February. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. February looks like it's pretty much gonna remain cold, not brutally cold. It won't be cold the entire time. We'll have spells where the remainder of the month, up and down, we might get up to 50. We might get into the middle 50s, and then we'll cool back down. But on average, February looks like it's going to be mainly below normal. It's so far as temperatures go. Our winter forecast has pretty much been right on point. We called for a slightly colder than normal winter, and that's what we've had so far. Precipitation, close. It's going to take a couple more. It's going to take 1 or 2 more snowstorms to get us to our prediction. And we're still kind of on the fence of thinking we might get a little bit more than what we actually called for. I believe our prediction did call for around 15.3 inches of snow for Evansville, which is a couple of inches above normal. And like we said before, any one snowstorm could come through here and just blow that prediction totally out of the water.
Oh yeah.
A big snow could ruin anybody's winter forecast. But a couple more snows will get us right to our prediction. So right now, I still feel pretty good about our prediction because we still have plenty of winter left. And if you look out into March is known to produce some snows. We'll see if that happens. It's predicted to be colder than normal in March, but we'll see if that happens as well. March is pretty much anything goes. So anybody that's hoping for an early spring or hoping for spring to get here right on schedule, that might be on hold a little bit, but we haven't really been able to put too much trust into the models because they've been back and forth, and they've had us in a nowcast situation. Just like the last couple of events, the models decided what they were going to do the day of the event. So, and
this one's another case of that as well.
And going back to last week when we were advertising the potential for winter weather event on Thursday, that ended up being rain that did transition into some snow, but things change, especially when you go into a progressive pattern that we were in, and that's the biggest reason why we did not get any type of significant snowfall last week. Because if the pattern is progressive, meaning a fast pattern where fronts are racing across the country, that's not enough time for the cold air to catch up and produce a heavy snowfall.
Yeah. That's the thing. It just there's so many aspects that go into, especially winter weather. It's really hard to forecast. It's really hard for models to grasp onto, and it's that's kind of when it comes into I think a lot of people probably seen the conversation throughout social media and stuff. When is it time to kind of start kind of talking about winter weather events and stuff? That's another thing too. I feel like it's totals are definitely, if anybody that puts out totals a week out, that's definitely not going to be accurate. Totals are going to change rapidly. But most of the time, once it's about a week out, the models are going to grasp on the system itself. There is going to be a system. The question is it going to be snow? Is it going to be rain? Is it going to be mixed? Is it going to be ice? And
if it's worth mentioning, about 7 days out, sure, we'll mention it to our followers as to what we're seeing in the models, but we're never going to put any snowfall totals out 7 days out because if you think about it, that's absolutely ridiculous. There is no way that anybody can tell you that, hey, next Tuesday or next Wednesday, we're going to get 10 inches of snow. That's just an example. There's no way of knowing that. The model's always out, and when they're out in the mid and long range, especially the GFS model, likes to blow up systems real big. And then as we get closer to these potential events, those snowfall totals either come down or the whole thing just disappears.
Oh yeah, exactly. And we've seen that a lot. Like that system that was last Thursday at one time, because it was actually being pretty consistent for about 2 weeks. It was actually started picking it up about 2 weeks out. And I remember seeing the model data, and at one time it showed 20 inches of snow in the tri-state. And as y'all see, what it ended up being, maybe, a dusting for some people, up to maybe an inch at the most.
I'm sorry, Zach. And right then and there, we knew it was not going to be 20 inches of snow.
Oh, yeah.
Especially that far out. We wouldn't believe nothing like that unless it was like 3, 4, 5 days inside the forecast period with a lot of consistency.
Yeah, yeah. And, and like he was kind of talking, how close we are, well, it's like he was saying, it was going to take one system, all it could take to get us to where our projected snowfall totals. And, if you think about Owensboro, actually, because we had about 4 to 5 inches on that system. The system actually did produce a good amount of snow for the area. We actually ended up getting about 4 to 5 inches in Owensboro. And then that following Monday, that system stalled over West Kentucky, and we ended up getting another 5 inches of snow. So Owensboro is pretty much at 10 inches. So we're kind of already approaching our you think about it, we're kind of already approaching our above average total for Owensboro area, and there's a few areas already like that. Like you said, as for the Evansville area, though, you still got a little bit of ways to go. But yeah, thanks to that system stalling out, though, it's not going to take much more for Owensboro to get over that average. And there's some areas that the forecast that we have for the winter forecast that Nathan Kitchens and Tony put together and stuff, that's already starting to hold true for the snowfall wise in some areas. So that's pretty cool. So to see that happen already. We will see how it goes, though.
Mm-hmm. And the thing about that was a lot of times me and Zach will get an early start on talking about how winter's going to play out. Me, Nathan Kitchens, and Zach, we were talking about the winter way back in September. We gave our thoughts, and we all three agreed that it was going to be colder than normal winter. When, not to knock any other weather sources or anything, because we don't get into that, but a lot of other sources were calling for a warmer than normal winter because of the La Nina, and we said that this was going to be a different La Nina, and it was going to provide us with slightly colder than normal temperatures, and that's what we've seen so far, even headed into February.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we've had some days that's been really brutally cold. I mean, almost record low colds. I remember there was a time actually right after December, because we had that really long period of cold. I was like 2 weeks long of just single digit temps. Almost seemed like it was like teens and low 20s, almost single digits at time. A lot of the times, especially at nighttime, it got up below freezing a lot with the wind chill factor in. I even started talking, could we see Ohio River freeze over? I actually started even talking about that because it was kind of, the models were kind of showing extensive cold continuing, and it finally warmed up a little bit. So that ended up being out of the question. But yeah, I mean, that just goes to show how cold it was that we were able to even start mentioning that, though. That definitely shows how a cold winter we've had so far. And we still got a ways to go. I mean, like I said, we have through March. This will go all the way. I mean, technically the first day of spring for meteorological spring starts March 1st, but the actual official day of spring won't start till the March 21st, I believe it is, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe 22nd, 21st, 22nd.
And also this cold air that we've had in place for quite a while on and off is actually kind of good in place in our favor, because if you don't like mosquitoes, it's most likely pretty much going to take care of some of the mosquito population, and they may not be quite as bad as they were last summer. But and we'll get into spring here shortly, but the only thing that could run that is a lot of heavy spring rainfalls that produce flooding. If we get a lot of flooding in the spring, well, this cold air that we had in the winter to kill off mosquitoes will pretty much won't even matter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mosquitoes
and I have seen
like standing water.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. And I have been seeing, I think people have been seeing mosquitoes. I'm sure y'all have seen them in your houses and stuff. I know I've heard multiple people tell me, hey, I've seen the mosquito in my house, just literally this week. Mosquitoes I think they're figuring out how bad this winter is. I think they're freaking out a little bit because it's killing them off. So that, it's a very good sign that that's happening, though. I haven't seen a few in a while in my house, but I did for a while. They started kind of coming out of the woodworks there, and yeah, they were slow, and you could tell that this winter was affecting that population. So that's good. That's a really good sign to see, though, especially after the terrible year we had this last year with them, because we didn't have a winter last year at all, hardly. I mean, I don't think it got below freezing hardly, but a few times all last winter, really, it felt like. So we had a very warm winter last year, and I kind of was thinking this year, and I think Tony would be kind of the same. This kind of reminded me of 2012 to 2013 transition. 2012, we had a really warm winter, and then we had an early severe weather outbreak, and then we didn't have nothing the rest of the year for severe weather or anything like that. It was a real quiet year. And 2013 followed up with a really active and cold winter and a lot of snowstorms. And then if you kind of think about it, though, 2017 to 18 has been very similar like that, where it was, 2017's winter was warm, and then we had that early severe weather outbreak, and then the rest of the year was real quiet and nothing happened.
Right.
And cold winter.
And if you can think back to last February, we were basically everybody was thrown a curve, because February was projected to be colder than normal, and we were thrown a curve, and we started trending more towards spring-like temperatures. It's when we started warming up. February ended up being a roller coaster.
Yeah. I mean, at this point last year, we were basically projecting already. I think we were already starting to talk about 60-degree weather for like a full week straight. Like, it was already we're starting to see temperatures like that. And then right at the end of the month, we had that pretty significant severe weather outbreak for parts of the tri-state, which
El Nino is not our friend.
Yeah. So, you see, that's what kind of made me think this year too. That's what I was kind of thinking back at, because when I seen that warm winter last year, and when it comes to starting to forecast this winter, that's what I kind of looked back at. I kind of looked at the 2012 to 2013 transition, because 2012 warm, and then it was literally, those years, and the same pattern as well. Like, everything was almost identical. 2012, I think, was El Nino, and then 2013 was La Nina, the first year of La Nina, and then of course the transition like that. So yeah, I mean, it was literally, it was real interesting. That's what I kind of based my thoughts off of a lot. Just going off of history as well, with that, because I remember, it just was so similar to that year. And, so that's what kind of, for me, that was kind of my, like, okay, here we go. That was kind of my point, really, when it comes to the winter weather forecast as well on that side. So,
hey, man, Zach, we're pretty good friends, and we have our little friendly weather battles on how we think things are going to play out, and how certain months are going to play out, especially during the winter. And so far, I'm probably 0-3 or 0-4 against him when it comes to the cold weather subsiding in April. He normally says that we're going to warm up early, or not April, I'm sorry, in March. He normally says that it's going to warm up early in March, and I say, nah, we're going to get some cold snaps. It's going to hang on, and I just throw the towel in, because he's won the last 3 or 4 years in a row.
Yeah, and right now, I'm kind of, I don't know, it's hard to say for me right now. This has been such a cold winter, and it wasn't like the years before. Last year, of course, I felt like it was real easy for me last year, because it was such a warm winter all year long. I mean, it was 60 degrees for Christmas. It was, we were talking 60s for weeks straight in January and February multiple times. For me, it was real easy that year. The year before, also, I kind of felt like, even though we had a good snow year that year before that, 2016, I think it was. I just kind of felt like it was going to be a normal transition. This year, though, I'm kind of on the fence. I'm kind of, I think Tony was kind of talking maybe a late start. It's kind of hard for me to say this year. We're going to have to really keep an eye on it. So
you never know. You never know. The weather changes quick here in the Ohio Valley, because it can snow in April, and it has happened.
Mm-hmm.
It's been decades. It's been decades since it's happened, but it can happen.
Yep. So, I mean, for me personally, I can't say positively this year. I have been able to every year since before, but maybe toward the back end of February, I'll be able to say something. Maybe I'll have a better idea, and we'll see.
Yeah, our discussions on our thoughts on how it's going to play out. Me and Zach's behind the scenes discussions are coming up.
Oh yeah, they are. We'll definitely have a lot of chats about what's going to be spring, and I'm kind of thinking 2013 though. I mean, it was a pretty decent severe weather year as well that year, which of course, if you think about it, 2013 also not only, I mean, it ended up being a pretty violent year, especially out in the plains. You had the Moore, Oklahoma tornado come through, breaking the record of the first Moore, Oklahoma record for the largest tornado. And literally a week later, El Reno came through and broke that record for the largest tornado, and of course claimed the lives of three of the greatest chasers that have ever lived. And so yeah, you think about 2013, how it came through after that brutal winter too that we had, and it kind of was like that through the entire plains, and it ended up being a pretty bad spring. So,
hey Zach, I just want to change the subject real quick. I'm looking at some storm reports and coming in from Evansville. Moderate to heavy freezing rain is being reported, glazing on cars, signs, and power lines.
Okay, yeah, see that now.
And over in Newburgh, they're reporting sleet rain mix at this time.
All right, yeah.
Actually, that was about 20 minutes ago.
So I just switched over back to the radar for us all. I just went ahead and switched over for everybody so everyone can see this latest radar data. And you see it shows pretty much all freezing rain for the Evansville area. As we were talking about earlier, we kind of think this little blob of green right here is more than likely mostly freezing rain. I have to go out there and look here in a minute. Honestly, I need to go do that. I have a feeling though that was coming from what the Intellicast radar were showing earlier. So more than likely this might be all freezing rain as well. Just kind of getting mixed in, but we'll see. I'll have to look on it here in a minute. But yeah, Tony, I guess if you want me to, I can just put this in motion, let you talk for a minute, and I'll go check it, see what it looks like in Owensboro.
Well, tell you what, because I have to step away from the computer for just a few minutes. Go ahead, go out, take a look, and we'll just leave the radar up, and we'll be back in just a second.
All righty. Yeah, so just stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few minutes, and we'll kind of wrap this up. I'm just going to get a report from what I have out there. Tony can take a look at it, so he'll take a look at what he has in Evansville as well. And so keep sending y'all's reports as well to us, and we'll announce them over and see what y'all think. So we'll appreciate it. We'll be right back with Let's Talk Weather. All right, so I'm back. I'm not sure if Tony is yet. But yeah, it looks like right now Owensboro looks like to be getting just pure rain right now. Just from what I'm seeing, I didn't notice any. I didn't see any freezing yet, but maybe it's just starting, too. But right now, I think it is all rain in the Owensboro area, so we'll just keep an eye on that and see how that goes. For Evansville, though, definitely probably all freezing rain, maybe some mix of sleet as well. And it looks like he might be kind of in a break right now. It's a little break kind of in between there right now, so we'll just kind of keep an eye on that. Looks like probably all sleet now for the radar site up in Fort Branch. I think it's kind of, it was all snow earlier, but I think it's starting to change over. Looks like Vincennes, you got some snow heading y'all's way now, too. It's starting to move up toward Vincennes, really forming on that north side. Look at that. A lot of stuff's really starting to form up there. So the system's really starting to get its act together. So that's going to be interesting to start seeing some snow totals up in this area, see how this goes. And we should be some reports from up there as well, I'm sure, as it progresses. But not sure if Tony's back just yet. Let's see. No, he says mic muted there, so we'll just kind of keep an eye on everything through the night. And so, pretty much what I'm going to do, I guess we'll see how this goes. Yeah, pretty much the latest, though, sleet rain mix currently falling. And real quick, though, I'll go ahead and check. I'll jump on the YouTube channel here, and I'll just kind of check some questions, see if anybody has anything, and I'll read them over. So just give me 1 second. I'll go ahead and put this radar back in motion, though. All right, and then it looks like Justin, he messaged us. He's actually upside all the team stuff, and it looks like northwest side of Evansville, freezing rain coating. So it looks like it's starting to stick on all the vehicles and stuff like that out there in northwest side of Evansville. Looks like John Hancock from 835. He said roads are good for now. So I'm not sure if he's one from USI. Okay, so yeah, and that's that's good time. That was at 8:30 though, so it's about 30 minutes or about 20 minutes now. So because I think it's about 8:35 ish. So about a little over 20 minutes now. So we're just keeping an eye on everything though, and of course we'll have the live radar going on the weather on the Facebook page as well. Not sure if Tony's gonna be back yet or not, but we're pretty much kind of done though. I guess I could go ahead and what I'll do, I'll just kind of run up over here. I was wanting to kind of talk about a system. Of course, we'll kind of go back a little history here. Pull that up here. So that's okay. That's the wrong one I'm looking for. Let's see. All right. Yep, Tony back.
Yeah.
All righty. Yeah, actually, I was wanting to do because it's kind of still in the anniversary time frame there. I was kind of wanting to go back to the 2009 January 26th, 28th ice storm. Kind of talk about that for a minute before we head out. Let's kind of go do a little history. Go back in a little history there for that one. And like I said, nothing compared to what happened back then. It's thankfully, it's definitely. Let me kind of find a little link here. That has more of a view from our tri-state area. Actually, on Wikipedia, even from that one. Yeah, it's kind of I was kind of want to go over that and everything though, because it was definitely a pretty intense storm. I remember I was in 8th grade, I believe, on that one. That ended up being a pretty significant ice storm. I remember for that one. So I remember we lost power pretty quick in that one too as well. I don't know how did Evansville fare in that one?
It was bad.
Mm-hmm.
I believe power outages, I think it made it up to 75 or 80,000.
Oh wow. Yeah, there's just some of the images. I think that's from like National Weather Service in Paducah. And yeah, I mean it was violent, very violent storm. I remember that was just wild. Yeah, I mean
it was terrible. There was a lot of households that did not have power for weeks.
Yeah, I remember it pretty well because I didn't have power for 2.5 weeks here in Owensboro. I know I had.
It literally looked like a war zone. That's what it looked like when it was all said and done.
Oh yeah, and, and that was y'all just got about an inch too, and that just shows how it doesn't take much to cause a lot of issues when it comes to freezing rain, and ice and stuff. That's what's crazy about it too. Like y'all kind of had less amounts than us and still had pretty significant damage. And then then you get into West Kentucky, which had almost double what Evansville had. So you could just imagine, like down in Paducah area and stuff, where they really had like almost 2 inches of ice.
Yeah, it was definitely it was a historic storm, and it's an ice storm I hope we never have to experience again.
Oh yeah,
it's gonna happen again, but hopefully no time soon.
Yeah, I remember. This is basically kind of like this tree kind of reminds me of what, in some ways, my tree lost almost every branch it had. My entire yard, you see this real thick section of trees right there. That's pretty much what my entire yard looked like all the way through from start to finish.
Then we had another ice storm a few years later where like 7 inches of snow fell on top of the ice.
Yeah. I mean, it was. I remember it well though. That was definitely pretty intense. I mean, I remember the power. My power went out really quick too. Like it didn't take long. It got about 3/4 of an inch of ice probably, and it started with the power line catching on fire right in my backyard, pretty much like 2 houses down. I heard a big buzzing sound all of a sudden. Power started flashing. Everything finally went off. I look outside and I start seeing flashes. You see the flashes because they're real bright and everything. And I look outside and sure enough, there's a transformer power line just throwing sparks and flames. And the fire department came, and that was basically it after that. That was the last we had power for almost 2.5 weeks. It was like pretty much right now. I know it's the 6th. That happened on the, of course, 28th and 27th. Yeah, 27th to the 29th, pretty much. Or 26th to the 28th, actually, I think is what they say. Yeah, so there's the map right there. Of course, that would have been not last Sunday. It's been like pretty much ended on Sunday of last week. Not this, of course, not this Sunday, but this week, but the one before that. And I pretty much wouldn't have had power probably if this would happen on the 20th of January. I probably wouldn't have power again until probably close to between the 10th and the 15th, somewhere in that time frame. So, that's how bad it was. I remember it well though. It was pretty wild. A lot of large tree limbs kept hitting my roof of my house as well. I remember that one too. That was pretty intense. Couldn't sleep because of that. This is what happens though when you don't take care of an old tree. It takes care of itself eventually. So yeah, that's what we had. We had a real old tree, and it should have been taken down a couple years prior to that. It didn't last much longer. We took it down not long after that, but it held up fine. It literally, I mean, my house was within, back in 2000 when the tornado came through in 2000. My house was basically in the outer wall of the tornado. It was in the circulation of the damage path. Really, it was in the debris field. Basically, it didn't lose hardly a branch, but the windstorm came through, lost a ton of branches, and the ice storm came right after that. And it just, that was it. That tree had it after that. It was into that tree we had in the front yard there. So. That's my ice storm story, though. I just thought I'd bring it up because we didn't have a January segment of Let's Talk Weather. It's our first one, and we plan on doing this probably monthly. We don't know if we'll be able to do it weekly because we can't really pick a day that we'll both be available every week. We'll try to if there's an event coming up or something, but more likely we'll probably just do it monthly, and we'll try to pick some time when there's looks like maybe some type of event coming on, maybe winter weather event or severe weather event, something like that. That way we have a lot to talk about. And as I exit out of that and head back to the radar real quick. But that'll be basically what we're going to be doing, though, I guess. We'll just kind of keep doing these, and hopefully y'all enjoyed this, though. It looked like a pretty decent turnout for a while there, especially as we talked about this system coming through. So, yeah, we'll just keep doing these and stuff, and y'all let us know how y'all like them and stuff, and we'll really appreciate it. Of course, this will be on the YouTube channel, so if anybody wants to watch this again, if they missed anything, feel free. Y'all can go right back and watch it all from the start. So yeah, it's all going to be here. It'll all be saved on our YouTube channel, and we can post it on our Facebook page if you missed it as well. So, so here's a radar. And Tony,
just real quick, I want to mention that this is still too far out, but it's at least worth mentioning right now. We're going to keep an eye on the weekend because it looks like we could possibly, keyword there is possibly have a similar setup where it looks like we could have I'm looking at the GFS, and it looks like we could have a scenario where we go from rain to freezing rain into some snow. Still too early to talk about any potential accumulations because the way the models have performed, a lot can change between now and then. It could be a scenario where we just end up with all rain because we are going to warm up a little bit after we get done with this system. So the coming up weekend, there's a lot of uncertainties. We'll keep an eye on it throughout the week.
Yep. Yeah, we will. So that'll be something to kind of look forward to for the next system to get ready for. The weather team will be updating that as it comes in and starts approaching and stuff and gets more in view. Yeah, well, it's definitely winter's been interesting already. So let's see if we can keep it going. So. Yeah, that's all I got, though. You got anything else?
Just want to thank everyone for following us and trusting us with the information that we put out. If it was not for you, we would not be here. We have a lot of great things planned for Metro Weather Watch in 2018. We plan on growing our team more. We do have a team of certified degree meteorologists, student meteorologists, and forecasters. So we always have somebody around at all hours of the day and night. If you have any questions, just leave us an inbox message, and we'll certainly answer those questions as quickly as possible. But again, we just want to thank, especially all of our new followers for following us, and we encourage you to like and share our posts so we can get our information out to as many people as possible as we continue to grow.
Oh yeah, and yeah, I agree. A lot, it's
and visit the page frequently. I'm sorry, Zach, I didn't mean to cut you off because this is one. While we're live, I really need to put this out there. Follow the page frequently and visit and interact on the page frequently because Facebook is weird, and I hope they're not listening to me when I say that. But Facebook is weird. The less you visit the page, the less of our information you're going to see in your newsfeed. The more you visit our page, interact, and like and share our posts, the more Facebook is going to show that stuff to you. So we encourage you to like and share our posts. Encourage your family and friends to follow us as well.
Yep. I agree. And it's very true because Facebook, I know they're kind of going by analytics and kind of what you want to see. They're using what you look at the most and everything, like you're saying. So yeah,
they're even doing personal pages like that now. They announced that they're doing personal pages like that now.
Oh yeah.
The less you interact with your friends, the less you're going to see them.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting what they're doing. I guess it's just their way of I don't know, keeping people from seeing what they don't want to see. I guess I feel like
they're trending. They said they're trending back to a more family-friendly environment, and that's in an effort to cut the political stuff and try to get back to what Facebook was when it first started. A place where friends meet, more family-friendly, but hopefully they don't affect us too much. But like I said, the key is to visit the page frequently, interact on the post, like, share, and encourage family and friends to follow us.
Oh yeah. Yep, that's the best way of doing it. More you, like I said, it's the best way of going about it. So with that, so yeah, we'll we appreciate all the likes. Though I mean, we appreciate all the followers, and without y'all, we can't do our job. So,
and I also want to say, give a welcome to all of our new followers in the Louisville metro area, because we're now getting a lot of followers from that area because we now cover the area in North Central Kentucky and especially South Central Kentucky, in the Bowling Green area and down towards the Hopkinsville area. And we're also looking into expanding a little bit further west towards the Metropolis, Illinois, Carbondale area, because I see that we don't necessarily have a lot of followers from that area, but we have a lot of people from the area who comment on our post.
Yep. So yeah, it's all about whatever pretty much our followers are from. We try to cover the tri-state area, but we're going to cover, we're always going to focus on the tri-state area, but.
And the name is not going to change. The name's not going to change. It's going to remain Metro Weather Watch.
Yeah. It just, we're just kind of expanding a little bit, trying to get those followers that have been following us for a while that technically haven't really gotten our coverage. They haven't really got covered, even though they have followed our area. We're just kind of giving them a kind of tip of the hat, really, because they're following us and they're following us for a reason. And
right,
that's things we can do.
And people following us, and if you're listening right now in the Hopkinsville area, the Bowling Green area, Elizabethtown, Kentucky area, Leachville, Kentucky area, Shepherdsville, Louisville, we encourage you to like and share our post on your timeline, in your newsfeed, on your timeline, whatever you want to call it, and encourage your family and friends to follow us, because we're looking to get more followers from your area.
Oh yeah, and even if we don't cover it like entirely 100%, regardless, I mean, you are technically in the tri-state, right on the outskirts of the tri-state area. Anything that's going to be affecting us is more than likely going to be affecting you. So one way, shape, or form, you're probably going to be able to see your forecast, and you're going to be able to get at least an idea of what's going to happen. But like I said, we are going to try to focus a little bit more on y'all now, and pretty much make it count more. That's kind of the best thing, I guess, the best way of putting it.
Right. There was an old saying that used to go like this: weather-wise, what happens in St. Louis normally happens in Evansville. So basically, whatever happens in Evansville normally happens in Louisville, because it has to move through that area unless it weakens.
Yeah. So regardless, we got you covered. So, yeah, that's all I got, though. If you're good, I'm good. So hope you all enjoyed this first episode. We'll have another one coming up. We'll try to get one going probably in March. If we need to do one, we feel like we might do one a little earlier or something. Yeah, we'll definitely come on and hop on and do that. So we'll also have lots of severe weather coverage when we can. We're going to try to do it every single time. There may be a few times where maybe schedules conflict with it, but hopefully for the most part, though, we're going to be able to go live, especially on anything major when severe weather season starts kicking in here, which could kick in by March. So we'll just have to wait and see.
And watch for us to grow our team. A lot of good things are getting ready to happen with Metro Weather Watch that we can't talk about live, but just trust us when we say a lot of stuff is getting ready to change.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So hope y'all enjoyed everything, though. And like I said, we'll keep liking and subscribing. We appreciate all the likes we've gotten. I know we've been really growing over the last few weeks here. I know especially it seems like we gained a lot of new followers. We appreciate it all. And like I said, we can't do our job without y'all. And
that has not been from promoting the page. That's just from people sharing our information. And that's why we encourage you, keep sharing our information so we can get it out there to cover more people.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people appreciate it. A lot of people have told us they depend on our updates, and we like to hear that. And so I know I keep repeating it, but we encourage you to like and share our posts so we can draw more people to the page, especially up in the Louisville metro area.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, well, I think that's all I got, though. Tony, I think you're good as well.
I'm good.
All righty. Thank you all for watching Metro Weather Watch. Let's talk weather live. And from severe to all clear, we've got you covered.
Have
Make
a
sure
great
you stay
evening.
put.